Wow, everybody. It is, I'm not sure what time it is. It's about 6. Might be 7. And today is Monday. And I want to show you what I woke up to this morning. My blue mountain is white. Look. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I know, a lot of you are probably very used to this, but I am not. I have never lived in an area where it snowed. I've been to the snow, and I'm being told if it does snow, actually here at Desert Rest, it only stays for a day or two, and maybe it's 2 or 3 inches worth, and that's perfect for me. In fact, if it didn't snow, I'd be happy. But there is Blue Mountain. There is, I don't know what the name of that mountain is. And then there is Star Mountain. So let's see if I can zoom in. There it is. So there's the snow on Star Mountain. And then the snow on those mountains. And then the snow on Blue Mountain. So this is all, blue is west of me. That's about southwest. That's almost directly south. I gotta watch where I walk. And then that right there, I think, is 10 Mile. And then there's the sun, so that's obviously east of me. And there's no snow up there, which I'm sure Jim and everybody up there are very happy about. But beautiful, huh? And you know what? I am not that cold right now. Now, I am gonna have to go back in pretty soon. But I just wanted to get a video of this, of the first snow of the year. Let's see what's happening north. Oh, there is a little bit of snow on those mountains north. So, again, I'm lucky because our little valley, even though many times the weather funnels its way right through this little valley, it comes over from Star Mountain, and sometimes it'll break apart and go on either side of us after hitting that, piles up behind that mountain, and then it breaks up. Or it'll go right over the top and barrel right through us. So which is what happened with this scariest cloud I ever saw yesterday. And boy, oh boy, did that cloud dump on us. But it only lasted maybe an hour and a half. Then it was done. There's the chickie babes. And there's Snow and the dino chicks. And the Friendship. That trailer right there with all the stuff around it. Let's see if I can go back out. The Friendship and the blue and the yellow building. And I have a funny story. There's Jim's tractor. I have a funny story about that tractor. I don't think Jim thought it was so funny, but I sure did. And my big old propane tank. You know, those tanks, they put a sensor on top that is supposed to go back to the office and tell them, you know, approximately how much propane I have left in my tank, you know, in case I lose track and I don't call them and within a certain percentage and all that. Well, New Year's Eve, or maybe it was Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. It was just a few days ago. And I've been checking. Let's see, Christmas Eve is when it was delivered. So this must have been New Year's Eve. Okay, so that's like 2 weeks I've had the tank, right? And I've been watching it, just curious to see how quickly I use it and stuff. And it was at 70% when they delivered it. And I had checked it twice, and it was still at 70%. Well, I was sitting at, inside the trailer. It was dark, and I was watching a show on Netflix, and I'm hearing all these voices, and I thought, it took me a minute, and then I realized those voices are coming from outside. They're not coming from the TV show I was watching. So I shut off the show, and sure enough, it sounded like people were outside my trailer arguing. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I grabbed my flashlight and I opened my door, and there's a big truck, propane truck out there. And Jim was there. and I'm like, what's going on, guys? And Jim says, your sensor told the propane company that you needed a refill. I said, I've only had the tank 7 days or something. And so the poor guy, the poor delivery guy, he took the sensor off, and I told him, if you don't have to put another sensor on, you don't have to, because where I live, I don't think it will get as far as your office correctly, obviously, unless there was something wrong with that sensor. So it was too funny. So I got to fill up on the propane, and it costs $10 every time they come out, plus your propane. So that fill up was almost $60, which I kind of didn't, really wasn't necessary, but hey, now I got 100% of propane. Jim got filled up because he was only down to about 70%, but he lives, right next door, so it makes sense for the propane guy to fill his propane up too. So that was kind of interesting. Then the story on the tractor. I'm sitting at my table, right? There's the tractor. There's the blessed mess. And this big window right here is where my dining room table is. And I can look out that window and see, the chicken coop, and everyone knows, well, if you've been following the videos, I've been having dog problems. And I don't know if you can hear, but the dog, I won't put their place on video, but the dog's barking at me right now. One of them. But so I'm sitting at my table, and out of the corner of my eye, it's dusk. I mean, almost really dark, but it is evening time, and it's not quite dark out. But if you see on his tractor, see that green thing hanging down? That is it's a pulley that they're going to use to put the pump down into the well. Well, it was the day that monster cloud came over, and the wind was blowing like a banshee, and it was nuts. And so out of the corner of my eye, I see movement right here. And from that window, and I thought, oh man, the dogs are back. So I grabbed my pow pow, not the pew pew, but the bigger pow pow. And I came around the corner, and it's a good thing I looked, because it wasn't the dogs at all. It was the swinging of that thing on the chain, and I almost shot Jim's tractor. That was going to be my intent, because I've had it with these dogs coming over here, tearing up stuff, tearing up my chicken coop, killing my chickens, threatening me, and then getting into my trash and tearing up my trash. they actually knocked over a trash can, which opened the trash can lid, pulled the trash bags out, and they tore up trash, threw it all over. And that's happened twice now. First time it was dummy me. I did not put the bags in the trash can. I was just too lazy and I threw them out. Just threw them out next to it. 'Cause it was cold and I didn't want to go all the way outside. So that was my bad. But still, I should not have to be putting up with the neighbors' dogs. So luckily, you look before you shoot, okay? Because that was good. All right, y'all. I am looking at the chicken coop, the chickie babes, and there's been a dove that has figured out how to get in. Now, right now, I can see one sitting on top. But I thought, yeah, see that? The other one's inside. And its mate is outside. So I'm going to have to go down there and help that dove get out. And I cannot figure out how that dove is getting in. So it's in this coop right there, which is Smoke and the chickie babes. And the mate went around the back. But it's crazy. Those chickens attack that dove if it gets on the ground. And I have never seen them be that violent. So I gotta get out there and get them in. And I know why it's doing it. It's going for the feed, because the chickie babes, all those chickens, really, see? Did you see the dove flying? All those chickens are not really into cracked corn. So there's a ton of cracked corn on the floor in there. And I'm sure that's what that dove is going for. So, very interesting. He's flying around and I don't see the chickens attacking. There is, Smoke is looking at me like, how come you're not coming over here? But, okay, there is, so today is Monday after New Year's, and I woke up to this beautiful, it looks brown now. I think some of it is melting, and the ground is showing through. But when I first got up this morning, it was totally white with the sun on it, and it was beautiful. Thanks for watching. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend, because a lot of people had the 3 and 4 and 5 days off and stuff. I kind of missed that, but I always have days off. So, love you all. Thanks for watching my videos and taking the time to stop by. We were going to work on the well pump today more, but it also says it's going to rain. And if you look out there, See those big black clouds? Looks like, yes, we're gonna get some rain. So we put it off till tomorrow, which is nice because I have to go into town and get some errands done. But love you all. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. God is good. I'll see you in the next one.